brand new, Edward. So I'll tell you, we do this once a month. It's the first Thursday of every month where we have a morning and an afternoon version of this, where we just come together. We do a networking, a moment where everybody gets to share a little bit about what they're doing and how they're doing it and some of the obstacles they see. But the purpose behind it all is really to find ways that we can all help each other, not just discover these obstacles and how we can share ways that we've creatively overcome them, but also from our committee standpoint, which is the member relations committee of the chamber, we want to help our members find ROI for their membership. We are now streaming live, it looks like, on Facebook. So, careful what you say now, because we're live now, baby. But one of the first things we're going to do is we're just going to go over some quick housekeeping things to make sure that everybody is on the same page. But basically, we are going to make sure that everybody, knows how to use a mute button. If there's any background noise, which you'll even get from me sometimes, because I got a dog over here that loves to interrupt any kind of networking events I have virtually going on. We're going to let you guys be the big kids and manage your own mute buttons. I won't mess with those. I got in trouble for doing that last time, trying to unmute somebody and they were unmuting themselves at the same time. It went back and forth. I'll let you guys be the big kids and do that. And then what you're going to see is over here on down below, if you're not familiar with Zoom, which I'm not sure if anybody is unfamiliar with Zoom, make sure that your chat screen is open. This is where we're going to be able to put all of our, and he's already done it, contact information, everything in there. Well done, Edward. And of course, if you want to do some reactions and, raising hands and all that stuff, you can do that too. But we got a pretty small group, so we'll be able to see, Edward, you're a pro at this. We're going to be able to do this nice and efficiently today, because this afternoon, it looks like, unless we have some people kind of rolling in late, we are going to just kind of be a small group today. So let's go ahead and get started. And Edward, what we normally do is we go one by one and we tell everybody like the 20-second, 30-second kind of spiel of what we are, who we are, what we do. We already know that you're a cricket farmer. So I don't know that you need to explain much more about that. I'm telling all of Facebook right now too that you just farm crickets. That's what you do. Here
at the chamber, we effectively market your business.
Yeah. I have little cricket bats. You can whack the crickets and move them around.
Hey, Facebook family, if you're not paying attention right now, you're missing out. But one of the things that I really do want to know is, what is one ask or one need that you need from your business? So please tell us real quickly, who you are, what you do, and your need.
My name's Ed Fox. I'm originally from Australia. I've been in the US for 30 years. I've been in Nashville area for 2 weeks. I bought a business called Trade Bank of Nashville, which has been around for ever since 1994. I think it started. The same guys run it since 95, and I bought it a month ago. And so I bought it in July, took over in August, made it here August 12th. Trade Bank is a business-to-business barter exchange, and that's barter, B-A-R-T-E-R. It's not a butter exchange like some people thought. I can't believe it's not butter, but it's barter, trading Oreo cookies for chips. Okay, that's barter. So we barter, we help businesses come together. We help facilitate barter deals, which can help generate them some revenue, especially during COVID. If you did a Google search on barter during COVID, it's all over the place. People are bartering all sorts of stuff to generate revenues and to swap things out that they need. And so a good referral for me in the Nashville market, I need two things. I need some people that know how to help others, because I'm looking for some salespeople that are actually buyers, because we've got 400 clients looking to spend trade dollars. So we can go into a restaurant and we can buy up a ton of gift certificates and help generate some revenue that they can spend on marketing and advertising and window cleaning and power washing and everything. And so a good referral is salesperson. And the other thing I'm looking for is I would love some restaurants to help. I don't know any restaurant owners down here. I'm so new. And I tend to go in and eat them out of house and home. And they just want me to come back and keep eating. They don't want to talk business. So I need some help with restaurant and with salespeople.
Wonderful. So specifically with restaurants, what are you needing from them?
I want them to sign up as Trade Bank members and accept Trade Bank as payments for their food.
Perfect.
If they've got a 30% food cost and I can bring them $100 worth of business, I charge them a 12% commission at the end of the month when they spend the dollars. They got a 42-cent dollar. If I could put a briefcase full of dollar bills and you could have them all, dollar bills you all, you could have them for 42 cents.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want 42-cent dollars?
I don't know. I don't really
Exactly.
know.
I just can't get the word out. So I need to join the best chamber in the Nashville market, which is you guys.
Boom.
I mean, I almost didn't come on this call today. I can't believe I almost missed meeting you, Ed. This is great.
Wait till we do a one-to-one. You wait till you hear the story of the most wonderful wife in the world. And that's not a parable, that's fact. And that's trademarked.
Man, there. She's also watching this on Facebook Live right now, so you are definitely getting points, Ed, like big time. That is awesome. Wonderfully done, my friend. All right, well, welcome, and let's move to Miss Beverly. Beverly, give us a little bit of shout out what you do.
Well, hi, and Edward, welcome. We have found you a home at the Bellevue Chamber, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Anyway, well, I'm Beverly Andrews. I am with Legal Shield and Identity Shield, two resources. And if you've never heard of Legal Shield, that's because we do not advertise. They rely on their people like me to educate you on the two resources. But Identity Shield is probably one of the best identity theft protections out there. We won 2 awards already this year for monitoring and resolution. We have extensive monitoring. We've even gone into high risk monitoring and 401k monitoring, which has really been hit hard during this COVID. But this is for individuals and families, and we do total restoration, which no other identity theft does. So in Legal Shield, we have a legal resource with a law firm here in Tennessee where you can call and ask any question about your personal life for you and your family or your small business. You could ask anything about your business. It's a resource, a monthly benefit, and we do all kinds of things for you, write letters on your behalf, make phone calls on your behalf, but unlimited resource. That means that you can call all day long, every day of the week, and get your questions answered. They're very up on the COVID issues. You're going to always talk to an attorney with the expertise of your questions. So it's pretty awesome. That's my ask. Yes, Edward, a question.
I love Legal Shield. We've been in this for 20 years. I tell you what, and the only reason I'm interrupting is because you didn't talk about Legal Shield perks.
Oh, yes. Well,
Legal
that's just
Shield
that's the icing on the cake.
I know. It's like, and this guy loves icing. Oh. I love diabetic and chocoholic.
You are now hired.
But no, Legal Shield, I've had it for 20 years. We've banked 300 trial hours. Like, we've got 300 trial hours. If Edward ever says something that comes out of his mouth that offends somebody and he gets sued, we got 300 trial hours. If you're a business owner and you're not on Legal Shield, you're an idiot. Oh, sorry, down the South, they say, bless your little pea picking heart.
Thank you, Edward. Your law firm is open and they love you. And they're right here in Brentwood, Tennessee, for Tennessee. Don't you love that?
What I love about this is
that's who I'm looking. That's who I'm looking for. Business owners like Edward. And I can't see that, but
what is
whose
that?
birthday?
401k.
401k. Yes. Yay. Anyway, I think I've talked enough. But
it was the cake with icing. Sorry.
I get it. I get it.
What's funny?
I always love the slow zoom in.
The slow zoom.
What is great about this, I just checked our Facebook Live, and like in the pictures, you just see like Beverly cracking up and people cracking up, and like for those of you that are like joining us on Facebook Live right now, let's say if you're not, you're missing out. This is hilarious, man. This is good. Beverly, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, so Miss Betsy, you're up.
My name is Betsy Lindell. I own my own business here in Nashville. I have 2 partners, one from Atlanta and one from Birmingham, and collectively we share 8 manufacturers of office furniture. I cover the state of Tennessee and Mississippi, and that's what I do for that job. I'm also a new 3rd grade and 5th grade teacher for my children. Completely underqualified, but hanging in there, haven't yet been fired. I don't even think they'd accept my resignation. I am a member of the chamber. I am a member of the member relations committee because I love people and I can't help myself. I just kind of talk all the time. So it's great for meeting new people. We love new members. Welcome, Ed. It's good to see you, Beverly. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining on the call. And my big ask is if you hear of anyone who needs 20 to 200 to a million shares, send them my way, especially if they need them quickly and they want them to look good, hold a warranty, and they don't have to build them themselves. So,
yeah, awesome. Thank you, Miss Betsy. Woohoo! My name is Jacob Tippett. Amy has stepped away, but she is our CEO of the Bellevue Chamber. And my role at the Chamber is, I lead the membership, I cannot speak, member relations committee. I swear I haven't been drinking. I swear. What time is it? It's 12:20.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Aussies drink all the time.
I didn't want to speak for you, Ed, but it's been a pleasure being able to just lead this group of really great individuals. Beverly and Betsy are actually on the committee as well. And Ed, you're the only outlier here that is not really a part of the chamber. So you're looking at a whole bunch of a support group just in here right around you. If you need anything at all, these are your people. But the biggest thing that I do for work and for actual income is I also sell furniture, and Betsy is one of my suppliers. So I work for Office Furniture Related Services. And yes, if you need chairs, contact us. We will get it figured out for you, and a whole lot more. Lots that we can do. Right now, people are trying to figure out ways that they can retrofit their spaces with the COVID situation. So we're just looking for anybody and everybody that is out there that needs some help, as we will eventually, have to and will be back in the office at some point. So all that's to say is I think we've gone around our round table for now, and let's get into the nitty gritty. So I think I skipped over this in the morning meeting, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there for fun as kind of an icebreaker. Not that we need one, but I want everybody to tell me what their first car was. The first car that they ever owned. Just out of curiosity, just an icebreaker question. Ed, what was the first car you ever owned? You're Australian, so I'm guessing it was probably a Jeep. No? Gumby? A fried out Gumby?
No, it was actually, I think it was the A-Team van. It was a Matchbox car.
Oh.
The first car I ever owned was a Matchbox car. It was either that or the one, oh, no. It was the Grape Ape van, because it came with Grape Ape. Remember the cartoon from the 70s, Grape Ape?
Yes.
And he sat on a van. And then I think the second one I ever owned was the Mystery Machine. Scooby-Doo. So those are, but that's not what you meant. I knew.
But very strangely, the mystery machine always had smoke coming out of the back of the doors when they opened it, which was always bizarre to me. I never understood.
They did a cookout in there.
There's a barbecue. Another Barbie, yeah. Okay, but for real, what was your first real car?
So it was, you call them, what do you call them? Mine was a Nissan, Nissan. You call them a Nissan. So it was a Datsun. It was a Datsun Bluebird. And this customer, I was 15 when I left school, 14 and 9 months, and opened my first business. And this lady would always drive down in her Nissan Bluebird. And then I saw these Bluebird ads in 1983. I'm 15. And saw these TV ads for the Nissan, for the Datsun Bluebird, and I just loved it. And when I got to like 17, she was still driving it, and she was so excited because she was getting a new car. And I'm like, I've always wanted to own a Datsun Bluebird. They look so cool, and they're junk, right? They're just junk. And this thing was two-tone. It was body filler. It was we call it bog, so like rusty body filler and beige. And I'm like, how much do you want for that? She's like, $2,000. I'm like, $2,000? I want it. So 1986, I bought a 1978 or a 1982 Datsun Bluebird, two-tone, and I had my own smoke screen driving down the street. One time I'm driving down the street, it was a stick shift, right? We learned to drive stick shift, and the whole stick shift came out in my hand. Just like the 4 bolts that were holding the stick shift together. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, it could be problematic.
Datsun Bluebird. Nissan Datsun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm guessing you still have that car to this day.
I still have good memories, as long as you have memories.
That's right. It still exists somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
The pylons connecting the back, the boot, what do you call it, trunk to the car were all rusted away. And so Dad sprayed like black foam spray on them. And then I said, because we had to go to a rego check and they like check it all over to make sure it's roadworthy. And I'm like, there is no way this is going to pass inspection. He's like, I'm not new kid on the block. We had a fish and chip shop. And so he took all the fish heads that he cut off to batter the fish. And we took all the prawns, you call them shrimp, and we chucked the shells in there. He said, just let that marinate in the trash bag in the trunk of your car for 3 days. And Australia, it's 100 degrees, right? And so we go down to this inspection station, and I'm scared shitless. Can I say shitless?
Well,
Australian,
there you go.
It's a good descriptive word. And the guy, he says, okay, well, I got to inspect the trunk and stuff. I said, oh, the boot. So it's like, oh my God, what do you have in there? I said, oh, we're on their way to the dump. We're going to dump that trash. He's like, I'm going to puke. Get out of here. And I'm like, yes. And there's no way, because if that got hit in the back, that whole back end would just fall off.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Facebook.
You didn't. So 3 days you didn't have maggots?
Oh.
I didn't open the bags.
Oh.
To high heaven. It was you don't. So we say in Australia, don't come the raw prawn with me, and don't come the raw shrimp, because that's like off, right? So raw prawns after 3 days would be off. So don't try.
Beverly is crying. You've made Beverly cry. Shame on you, Ed. You've made
I'm thinking about any girl who would come near you in that
I know,
at that time. Forget it.
So I say she's the most wonderful wife in the world, and she's got great taste in men.
Yeah,
And I
you're
get an
right.
eye roll. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's awesome. That is
I had
really
my
awesome.
caffeine for today.
All right, who can beat that? Who can beat that? Who's got their first car story? No, like nobody's like, no, I don't even
Okay,
know.
so it's not even my story, and it's like, so there's like Ed's first car story, right? Like Betsy's first car story, and then like Betsy's brother's first car story, maybe like here. So my brother, who my parents were like, we're not going to buy you a car. You don't need your own car. After he totaled both of their cars, decided that he probably could have his own car. So he worked all summer painting houses, mostly we think the inside of closets, because he'd come home at the end of the day and be like really loopy. And he finally had enough money to buy a car, which I think he paid $800 for or something. It was a Ford LTD, which if you don't know what that is, it's like two of grandma's sofas on wheels. It's so wide. I mean, you can lay down in the front and back seat. The seats go totally across, like way across. He had this car for a couple of weeks, drove it around. It was yellow. It was also rusted in various places. And about right before school started, it was about to break down. So we'd like finally bought this car. It worked all summer. He hadn't had it very long. And he was like, well, this thing's a POS. It's probably going to die on me. And I really wanted a convertible anyways. So I come home one day from work and he is standing on the roof of his Ford LTD with a chainsaw, and he is sawing the roof off of his LTD. And for the remaining 2 weeks of summer, he had his convertible, and then the thing did die, and he had to start all over again. So
that's awesome. That is cool.
I'm sure. Well, Ed, I'm sure that you would approve. I mean, that's kind of an Australian move, that to take a chainsaw to a car to make it a convertible. I mean, come on, that's kind of like, it's kind of up your alley.
Hey, we don't have rednecks in Australia. We have bogans. A bogan is a redneck. So
okay.
I hold the bogan games on my cricket field each year. We have the bogan games, and all these Aussies come from all around the country and play bogan games.
That's awesome. The bogan games. Okay. New vocabulary, people. All right, Beverly, what was your first car?
I was writing Edward a note. I can't concentrate. I haven't sent it yet, Ed. Hold on. Okay. It was a 19 1957 Ford, and my father worked at my uncle's Chevrolet dealership. So that was really way out there, you know, but they drove a 1955 little pale blue Chevy that I always loved. My mother burnt that up in the garage because we had big coal, old garbage bins behind the garage, and the garage was an old, it held coal back in its day, you know? So some of the little cinders kind of went over and set that on fire, and then set the garage on fire. So we had a lot of excitement. But anyway, I had the Ford. So I got teased about that a lot, but it was a good little car. My dad being the master mechanic that he was, we were always in a car, and
Yeah.
always ran great. I still don't even, I barely know how to check the oil because he would never let us touch the under the hood.
Oh,
Not
wow.
my girls. I wish I was a mechanic like him. He could do everything.
Where'd you grow up, Beverly?
I'm sorry?
Where'd you grow up?
Illinois,
Okay.
near Champaign-Urbana,
Okay.
Southern Illinois. I went to SIU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. My first car, I was actually thinking about it. It wasn't the Chevy Cavalier that I told you the other day, Betsy. It was actually my first actual car that I got was a rusted out 1978 Dodge pickup that had only AM radio, and strangely was only able to get 2 channels on AM radio. I'm not really sure how that worked out. And
Were
the
they
driver,
Jesus and heavy metal, or?
yeah, it was like news talk, and then there was a preacher, I think, on one of them too. But like how do you only get 2 channels on AM radio? I mean, you just need to have like a piece of tinfoil and you can get channels on AM radio. But no music. It was, you know, it barely ran. Had a V8 engine, so you know that was pretty cool. And then the driver's side window wouldn't roll up all the way. And for you kids at home, there was a day when we didn't have power windows. Like you actually had to crank them. It was a thing. But this window wouldn't go up all the way. And we lived in Portland, Oregon, where it rained 8 months out of the year. So trips to school are very cold and wet all the time. I always like showed up freezing and slightly soaked. So great memories, a lot of tetanus shots. You know, it was just one of those kind of vehicles, but it got us through.
Did you have a dip switch for your lights on the floor? Did you have a dip switch, or is that not that old?
I did. I forgot about that. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, it was, man, lots of great memories in that thing. And the funny thing was that the license plate actually said UKY. So we called it the Ucky truck because it just looked gross, and just, you know, everybody else had like these really nice cars, and here comes the Ucky truck, you know, backfiring down the way.
There used to be an ad when I got to the States. There was a guy advertising, don't you buy no ugly truck. I don't know if you had that same commercial. Tom Park used to do these commercials, and then this other loud guy would come on, don't you buy no ugly truck, from Donovan Chevrolet or something.
Wow, that was some aggressive marketing. You know, I don't know that we could do that anymore. We'd probably get a lawsuit.
But if you got Legal Shield, it don't matter.
That's right. Nice plug there. Beverly, let us know what the details are.
I get paid by the reference.
Yeah, you do.
And I love office chairs, you know, because if I wasn't in one, I'd be like down here, you know. So just saying. So office chairs are important, people.
Jacob and I were looking at office fail videos yesterday before one of our presentations, and there were a lot of people like it was like a video of somebody trying to get, I guess, instead of adjusting their camera, they were trying to adjust their position in their chair, and like they do this, and then they'd fall out of their chairs. It's great. But you look like you have a good gaming chair.
Yeah, I decided not to bring my chair with me because it had been I don't know if I can say that word.
Or what? Like,
well, it was a cyborg chair because we'd gone through a lot of cheap Office Depot chairs. Like in my office back home, I'd converted the enclosed the closet, and I turned it into 3 gaming stations for my kids, and then my wife's computer, and then my computer. And so we were a family that computed together with headphones on, and we all played different games. And my wife was the only one paying bills. She's like, you guys are all. And so anyway, they love to break chairs. And so I had bits and pieces of chairs, and I'm cheap. I am cheap. If I can't trade for it, I can't afford to spend cash. Why spend cash when you can trade? And so I had one arm that was off one chair, another arm that was off another chair. Two of the wheels were different wheels that didn't match my other wheels. And my wife finally said, look, I'm not taking that all the way to Nashville. You can leave it at home, and then I'll give you permission to go out and buy a new chair. Now I got to find a chair on trade. Is there any office chairs on trade? And so anyway, she went to Office Depot and bought me this gaming chair for $150. And it is comfortable. And I'm doing like 7 Zoom meetings a day. So I was afraid it wouldn't be comfortable. But
Oh my gosh.
but I'd rather have a
Been all right
trade.
so far?
So if we can trade for a chair, Betsy, I'd rather promote you than promote Office Depot or
Well,
Staples.
I don't know. I mean, I have a manufacturer that's kind of new to the game. Interestingly enough, they're owned by a company out of Australia. I unfortunately don't know the umbrella company that owns them, but it's
I
Styleworks.
don't know them either.
It's Styleworks Furniture, and
Okay.
they stock product in California, and they bring in containers full of chairs. I mean, I'm happy to ask Dean if he would, I mean, if you have companies that are looking to spend trade dollars for furniture,
Yeah,
it might be,
4,000 companies nationwide.
yeah, I mean,
It's a franchise, and I own
sure.
Nashville and Wichita, and I got 400 clients in each city.
I actually already wrote a note down about him to ask him about that when you were talking about restaurants.
Well, we could do a Zoom 1-to-1. I don't know
Sure.
whether it's a good fit. You never know. It's all
I don't
about.
know.
It's all
I
about.
don't know anything about it. I mean, I know enough that I don't have any experience with it, so I can't speak intelligently to it.
Well, I can barely speak intelligently, and that's just because I have 3 children. So 3 children that are virtually learning. So my brain doesn't work anymore. So let's get into meat and potatoes. I love, being able to get to know the real people that are in our group, and sometimes like you just have to find something fun to talk about, like the first car, right? But one of the things I want to open up, we talked about this a little bit in the last meeting. There wasn't a ton of feedback, and I'll just toss it out there. And if there's not, we can move on. But one of the topics I wanted just to kind of throw out there, and if people on Facebook, are watching this and want to comment in the section about, what their thoughts are too. We are in the political season. We are going into, a time where we're going to be voting our representatives in or out. And without throwing the gasoline on the fire, the kerosene on the fire, one of the things I want to throw out there was, for your industry in particular, your individual industry, are there rules, regulations, or laws, policies that affect your business specifically? I'm not talking about broad sweeping, like, yeah, less taxes would be great, or anything that would be kind of a divisive thing. Really, it's more or less like Betsy brought it up last time. She said that one of the things that affects our industry in the furniture industry is the length of time and the process for permits, construction permits, certificate of occupations, things like that. The reason why I want to kind of just throw this out there as a question is that one of the unique things about being a part of the chamber is that we do have this direct line with our representatives. Gloria Hauser of Metro Council was on our board. We know Dave Rosenberg very well. There's a lot of of these connections we have that we can directly contact them and maybe even initiate a conversation about something. So the question to you guys is there anything that you can think of where you're like, yeah, I'd like to have a conversation about this, or at least bring this up to our representatives, local government officials, because it's something that does affect my business, and I don't know that there's anything going on about that. Is there anything that comes to mind? Where's my Jeopardy theme song?
No, I'm just keeping an eye on Facebook, which is why I keep looking at my phone.
Yeah.
There was somebody else that wanted to join, but
Oh.
and you already said the thing about the codes. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of my thing
That's
too.
the biggest
is
thing.
codes. Yeah. Anything you can think of, Ed?
In my industry, the biggest challenge we run into with regulation is that because back in the day you couldn't barter alcohol, you weren't allowed to barter alcohol. That's the only thing really holding us up. If people can spend Bitcoin and buy alcohol, then we have a barter currency. We pay taxes.
Mhm.
Let us barter alcohol. but because there's never been a letter come from government or from IRS or people that say, oh yeah, you can barter alcohol and trade, because you're not really bartering, you're using a currency and then you're paying taxes on your currency, so they're getting their cut. So for me, that's the only really thing that I've got in regulations and government that are challenging me. Otherwise, we're just another payment service. These days with Cash App and PayPal and the myriad of different options we have, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Bitcoin, it's really barter. Just because we use the term barter doesn't mean we're actually bartering whiskey for rifles. It's not
Right.
not the Wild West. So
Right.
we're actually using currency. So if I could find some way to get a letter to tell liquor stores that yes, it's okay to trade or to barter using our currency, but that's not really a local thing. That's got to be an IRS letter. So there's really nothing really local. My interest when it comes to a chamber locally is I like to know a couple of things. Number one, what do they consider a small business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that answer tells me where their focus lies as a chamber. And then how do they bring in all the home-based businesses and incorporate them into chamber events? And do they have a special membership for home-based businesses? Because some chambers like poo-poo home-based business, but we know all the guys. Michael Dell got started in his garage.
Yeah.
What if we'd let him into the chamber and he brought in, $1 million in revenue for us in bringing in a bunch of chamber people? So
Yeah.
I really need to know what's Bellevue's position on what's a small business? What do they have that's networking and brings, so stuff like that. So stuff for me is like knowing the chamber and where their focus is at and where they want to grow. And that's where I'll choose to spend my time in a chamber if I think it's not progressive as in liberal, but as in moving forward progressive.
Right.
Are they moving forward? Do they have a plan? Do they have good networking events? That stuff to me is important. And, we know chambers, there's some chambers around Nashville that COVID hit and they went.
No, people, his screen did not freeze. That's just.
That's what the chambers did. There's a bunch of chambers that you try and reach out to them. Oh, we're not doing events now because of COVID. Get off your ass. Go to work. Come on.
Well, I'll let
We
Betsy,
never stopped.
yeah, I'll let Betsy speak on this for a minute because she raised her hand. But I will say this: that we did the same thing. We looked at it and go, well, if we can't do events, what can we do? And that's why this was born. That's why we ended up doing this ChamberConnect, was because we had to have some way that we could connect and have a way that we can network even when we can't meet in person. And I will say this: even that restrictions are lessening a little bit. We do have an initiative starting called the Fist Bump 5, where we are organizing small groups that will go meet at a coffee shop or a place like City Limits or little cafes. And we're just limiting the groups to 5 and having people sign up for that. So that is an initiative that is coming. We call it the Fist Bump 5 for obvious reasons, just to play off that. But Betsy, you wanted to say something about the small business, I think.
Oh, no, I mean, I just was, I guess I just had a question on clarifying, what counts as a small business in terms of Tennessee, or what is a small business in the eyes of a chamber?
No, in the eyes of different chambers, a small business means different things. The
Yeah.
Wichita Chamber, they are a great chamber and they've got great people, but their focus is a little different.
Right.
They would disagree with me, and they're allowed to do that. So when what's your parameters of what you feel that the chamber board and the chamber president consider a small business?
I think we have a lot of members who are member-owned businesses. So a lot of businesses where it's a single individual or maybe even a handful of people, 2, 3, 4 people who are running a small office, a really, owner-run business. I think that makes up probably over half of our members right now.
Yes.
Right. So you would say that the chamber's philosophy is that a small business is 20 employees or less?
Nope. No, we have a lot of people that are single owners and they literally are the only.
Well, that's less than 20.
Uh-huh.
Less than, right. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think we never really made the designation formally of what we're going to support as a small business versus not a small business. I think
Well,
we
I was just
have,
thinking from a mindset point of view.
yeah,
What does the board? So Wichita Chamber, love them to death. But when I asked them, I say, what do you consider a small business? They said 100 employees or less. So their focus in small business is 100 employees and less. And I looked at them. Okay. And I've been a solo entrepreneur so many times, or less than 10 employees, that chambers could really reach out to your multi-levels, your direct sales, your single entrepreneurs, and can really bolster their memberships and also help these small businesses grow to where they're employing people.
Yeah, no, that's
You know,
absolutely.
and we as chambers, if we've got the right tools and we've got the right education process and we've got the right mindset, we can help these business owners as much as they can help us.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And, you know, and to Betsy's point, I mean, there's a lot of those types in our chamber. And this is why the member relations committee was created. Because if we're being quite honest, the larger companies that are members are not necessarily even the most active of our members. They don't necessarily even attend events as much. They're doing a great thing by supporting us and supporting the chamber and supporting the community by, you know, paying their membership dues and sponsoring events, which is amazing and great. But it's really it's the movers and shakers and the small business. And I mean, like small business, 1, 2, maybe less than 10 people employed are the ones that are really the most active. And the member relations committee was created to grab those people, lift them up and say, okay, how can we spread word about your business? How can we find you ROI for your membership that you pay each year? How can we find ways to help you grow? Because we understand that a rising tide lifts all ships. And if we can get our entire community to be bolstered and to be strong, then we are going to be strengthened along with it. And so this initiative is nothing new necessarily to the chamber. It's just that we really have been pushing for the last few years, especially to grab those businesses that need that help and pull them up any way that we can. So I don't know if that totally answers your question, but
well, it's good. I think there's a lot of things that chambers haven't thought of yet that they could do. And the smaller, what's your membership numbers look like pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, we were at about 287.
Okay, so you got a chamber that's around 300 people. You guys can do a lot of stuff that the 2,000 member chambers can't. And you can. So one of the things, I was talking to a couple of chambers in the Wichita market, and I was saying, why aren't you reaching out to all these national networking groups and bringing in out-of-state members and signing them up on an out-of-state membership that allows them into the market that might have, like Betsy. Betsy might get some great contacts as a furniture manufacturer from somebody in New York that we're never going to connect with. But if we allowed them to have an out-of-state membership and we kept a virtual networking group that tapped them into the Bellevue market where they could sell their products or service, or at least pitch us and learn about us, why not? We don't care. We could have 1,000 out-of-state memberships that are paying us $50 a year, and that's another $50,000 in revenue that would come to the Bellevue Chamber, and we do our job as a chamber to connect people.
Yeah.
And the 3 chambers I talked to in Wichita that are all smaller said, oh, that will never work. The board will never go for that. I'm like, well, then they're idiots. I'm sorry. Well, bless their little hearts.
Well done. Very
Now you're in
satisfying to say
Tennessee.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say this, that the only real requirement that the board and the chamber has is that business has to be done somehow, some way in Bellevue. But as we've talked about it, so many people do business online that really opens it up to really any business that does business online as well. So, I mean, I wrote down your note to go and take that to the next board meeting. And this is the fun part about being a part of a chamber this, dare I say it's small, is that, you know,
Quicker to adapt.
Yeah, we can take ideas like this and have a real discussion with the board and say, is this something that we can do? Is this something we can implement? Nobody on that board, on our board, is stubborn to say, no, absolutely not. we would have a good
Me.
discussion about it, figured out.
Yeah, we're open to all kinds of ideas that would grow our revenue stream.
Well,
I mean,
I think we've
even
got-
if it is creative membership, we've talked a lot about that recently. So,
Yeah.
Beverly, what were you going to say when?
I was just going to note that, Edward, just like you are a franchise owner, we have a tremendous amount of franchise owners all throughout our communities. It seems like a lot of people from the corporate world got tired of that. They wanted to do their own thing. You know the story. And they became a franchise owner. And it's husband and wife. It's 1 or 2 employees. It's up to 10. It's up to 12 and growing. So that's a big part of our community too, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was, excuse me, go ahead.
I was just going to say a pet peeve of mine, you see on Facebook, they're like, shop local, shop local, shop local, don't shop chains. Don't shop Amazon, shop local, shop local. I'm like, number one, I know the Dairy Queen guy. He owns 3 Dairy Queens. He's barely making it. He could use your help. Just all of these local franchises are just local people. They're owned
They
by
are local businesses. Yeah, exactly. The Chick-fil-A owner is a great example.
Right. And I know a lot of friends that are selling on Amazon, and it's the only way they're staying alive in business today is they're a local business selling on Amazon. Amazon helps thousands of us, millions of us around the world to sell our products to a larger market, and they don't think about that. So I've got a chamber in the Wichita area, not the Wichita chamber, but I've got another chamber that's like, shop local, shop local, shop local. I'm like, franchises can be local.
Oh, yeah.
Franchises can be local.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, Chick-fil-A is doing very well because of my patronage. And I've gained like 15 pounds just because of how much I love them.
Well, and you can get them on DoorDash now, so it's super dangerous.
They just
no.
Yeah. No, the owner just sent me like a coupon, like a redeem, like a point thing. Today it was like a chicken biscuit, and I'm like, you are a terrible, terrible person. You are a very terrible person.
Get your fix.
I know. I was like, it's like the first one's free. The first one's free. And I'm going to make you come back.
Pokemon card games. We give them the first free pack of Pokemon, and then after that, it's like
once you're hooked, it's like you're done.
Right.
Well, and I mean, it's a really good point to make, though, Ed, is that local businesses don't have to be just a mom and pop brick and mortar with a
Right.
very unique name. It can be a Dairy Queen. It can be a Chick-fil-A. Those guys are local franchises too, so we appreciate them as well. So awesome. I'm loving this discussion. I think that the next topic that we were just going to go into, as we've only got maybe about 10 minutes left here, is just, what are some obstacles that you've seen since COVID-19 and how you've creatively moved to find ways to bolster your business in this time? Is there anything that you guys can share that you guys have done differently to make things easier or to expand your business?
I found something. I tuned into a BNI. I was a guest of a BNI member, and I like to do that occasionally. They really kind of step out of the box and do some different things that we can pull into our own business. I was very impressed by when I accepted the invitation, I had a real quick video sent in an email, just welcoming me personally by name. And it was so effective. I thought, geez, Louise, I could be doing that to my members, to my companies, to my businesses, to my groups. We could all do that to our individual. Just a real quick video, just say hi, checking in on you, give them some information, maybe something that's, relevant to their business. But it's an awesome opportunity. And I bet you've done that, Edward, haven't you, Mr. Techie?
He shrugs.
I took that as a note, though, because I don't do it often enough. I do other things, but that's something I can add to my repertoire. That's my college word for the day.
That's it? That's the only one that we're going to get, though?
Okay, but now you have to spell it. Now you have to spell it. This is Lindell, third grade teacher. Challenge word.
IT.
Wonderful. What's the root of the word? What is the origin? And say it one more time for me.
I
The
think
word
it's
etymology.
Yeah,
The etymology of the word.
wonderful. All right. Anybody else have any creative ways that they have expanded?
Go, Betsy.
So one thing that I started, it was actually an idea that I had in an effort to help one of our chamber members who is a solo entrepreneur. She runs a bar studio, fitness studio company, and she was leasing space from the Pilates studio here in Bellevue and hadn't been able to physically have classes in the studio since the end of April. And she'd made it work by doing some things at local restaurants, outside, etc. But there was nothing really very regular. So one thing I thought that would help her, and in doing this has really helped me, is to offer Zoom bar classes, which for the whole month of September, I've partnered with her, and every Tuesday and Friday over the lunch hour, I've invited designers from across the state, Tennessee, well, and Mississippi, because it's just a Zoom call, so it doesn't matter that they're 7 hours away. And I've gotten some really, really great responses, and she's even been able to expand that and is going to start marketing that as something that she could offer to other businesses who are in a sales and business development role, because a lot of people are trying to come up with things they can give, like an immediate tangible that they can provide for their customers, that's something different, that doesn't cost them a whole lot, but provides more value for their customers. And I think there's a lot of people right now who sit in a chair all day, especially as business development people, used to getting up and out and around and being pretty active. And we're becoming more sedentary, and so it's been awesome. We had our very first one on Tuesday, and she did great. She's amazing, has great energy, and my customers were so excited about it. Some of them are even coming back on Friday. Friday we're going to have 2 designers, one of my dealer designers from Memphis, 2 designers from Chattanooga, and 2 designers from Nashville, all on a call to work out for an hour. And they're like, yay. And sometimes they see one another at different industry events throughout the year, maybe once or twice a year, but it's going to be cool just to, my favorite thing about what I do is just watching people delight in some way over either reconnecting or just finding joy in one another. So it's just going to be fun, just a fun, totally different way to connect. There's nothing to do with furniture. And it's just fun.
Yeah. And so like the moral of the story is that you found that another business had a need and there was a way to do it online and start bringing in more people to do it and kind of help them bolster their business. And I'm sure that as you, and because I've watched you and I've talked to you about this initiative, and what was really cool about that is that you're providing something that even the designer, the other dealer, the other people that are really your customers or your clients are going to use and need for their own personal health, their own personal well-being and their happiness. And so when they go to specify products or they want to use something in their next project, they're going to think of the person that thought about them. And I think that's really, really smart initiative. Wish I'd thought of it.
You can do a bar class with us, and
I'm not that cool. I'm not that cool. I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A now. I'll be back.
You're welcome to join. Kelly would love to have more guys participate. She's like, I'm not, this isn't a women's only club, I promise.
It is kind of ballet oriented though, right?
It's ballet oriented, but ballet has a lot of things that are really pretty detrimental. I know because I was a ballerina and have a lot of lifelong injuries because of it. So it takes all of the good things about exercising in that manner, but it modifies them so that you're not injuring yourself while doing it. So it's kind of a mix of Pilates, yoga, self-balancing, weight. Yeah.
Well, as long as tights are optional, and optional as in I can wear them, then great. Then I'll be there.
Wear whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable in.
Awesome. All right,
On
Edward.
that note,
What you got, Ed? He's like, no. See, somehow he was still able to envision me in tights virtually.
I was going a total different direction with a bar class. I thought you were going to say that it's like all virtual drinking, like we're all sitting alone.
yeah, no, BARRE, another French word.
2 and
No, they say
3
entrepreneur
and
is French
4.
for 80 hours a week. That's what entrepreneur means, is French for 80 hours a week. So yeah, I'm thinking as an Aussie that a bar class sounds good. Work that elbow. Come on. You got to get down that schooner of beer.
I think a lot of people have done Zoom happy hours and whatnot. I know other reps who've sent liquor to a bunch of people, then gotten them on the phone to talk about whatever.
That'd be funny. Drunk Zoom fails. That could be the next America's Funniest Home Videos.
I mean, they can get a little raunchy. It's like I'm already doing those with my friends.
I was looking for what I was going to do as my podcast video cast job. It's Drunk Zoom Fails. I'm giving alcohol to everybody for free, and then we're getting them on and asking them their deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh, this is great. This is
Secrets.
like drunk.
Secrets with a W.
Sequence.
Maybe like drunk history.
Tell me all your secrets.
People are trying to get into their cameras. They're just trying to get into their cameras as best they can. Can you see me,
People
guys?
are missing out today. I am telling you, you guys are a good bunch of people. We have done.
Yeah, like sometimes we have a few people, sometimes we have 20 people, we never know, but I don't know,
So what I have found during COVID, the best thing for me is I have set up and done Zoom one-to-ones. I'm in sales. I have to connect with people. I'm not trying to sell you anything you don't want. I'm trying to sell you stuff that once you understand it, you're like, where the hell has this been all my life? Why haven't I ever heard of you? That's my biggest problem. So for me, I'm already loud and obnoxious, and I was a big fish in a little pond. Everybody knows Edward Fox in Wichita. So I hired a few salespeople before I left, and they're like, Edward, you've talked to everybody. Everybody I talk to says, oh yeah, I know Ed Fox. I'm like, yeah, don't let that stop you. Obviously I didn't sell them, so sell them. But so for me, Zooming and actually committing to trying to connect with somebody and do a one-to-one. I give classes on how to effectively network, how to talk to people, and how to do that effectively without just being a salesman. Because it's more about, we build know, like, and trust. Now me, I like to move that around. I say I like to build like, know, and trust. Because if I don't like you, I'm never bothered get to know you. Okay, so I like to build like, know, and trust. And I need to find out who are your connections, who are you looking to connect with, what makes good sense for you, what's a good fit, how can I help you make money, what's your biggest challenge that you're trying to solve right now. And they all think I'm trying to sell them trade bank. I don't give a shit. I got 8 other, sorry, the Australian slipped out. I apologize.
No, I love it.
It's like, it's the Australian word that covers everything. That and bloody. You're a bloody idiot. You're bloody brilliant. Either way, it's bloody. So sorry. So
it's covered in prawn juice.
Sorry?
It's covered in prawn juice.
It's covered
Jacob.
in prawn juice.
Jacob, can we
Yeah.
share with Edward? I listened in a little bit, I think on the recording from this morning when
Yeah.
Tim Cummins was talking about the October 24th.
Business Expo, the exhibit.
Yeah.
The exhibit. And
Yeah.
I think Edward needs to know about that from 10
Yeah,
to 2.
It's
Edward, you have somewhere to be on October 24th, I think.
Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
sounds good to me. Well, what I would, I've got a 1:00 call, but
I do too.
so connect with me on Facebook. We'd be great Facebook friends. So
What did you say your Facebook? You're not Ed Fox on Facebook though. You said something else about jokes and.
oh no, I've got like 15 different pages where like an idea strikes me. So I do tongue twisters. I do tongue twisters. Luke
You have
like
15
flakes, Luke
Facebook
duck like
pages?
flakes. Huh?
You have 15 Facebook pages?
Like pages for business or for
Oh,
fun.
okay.
But so if you look at my contact information and you can touch the 3 ellipses, these ellipses down there, the 3 dots. I didn't know what an ellipse was. I'm a 9th grade
I'm
dropout.
just gonna be like old school searching you.
Okay, Edward Fox. So I'm looking at my wife who's looking over my shoulder. She's in a purple dress. I'm like a bit fatter in that one. Like I've lost like 80 pounds since then. So not enough Chick-fil-A, obviously. So she's looking over my shoulder and I'm looking at her and it comes across and says love and it's Edward Fox.
Is her name Carmen Fox?
Sorry?
Is your wife's name Carmen?
No, my wife's name's Alice.
Oh, okay. So there's another Edward Fox with a purple shirted wife. Just saying.
There you go. Who would have known?
Interesting.
But anyway, if you take my contact information, you can copy
I will.
and paste.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for the time. I know you guys got to run, so we'll wrap it up. But thank you guys for being here. If you guys see anything at all, we are going to take this chat. We're going to email it to everybody after we're done, so you have all that contact information in your email. But thank you guys so much for doing this. We will be back here first Thursday next month. And Edward, well done, my man. Great to meet you. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks. Yeah, let's talk. I'd love to do a one-on-one with each of you individually, or we could do it all as a group. I don't care.
Whatever. I think we're for whatever. That sounds great.
That's good.
No, I'm doing Zoom. I'm doing Zoom right now, so that'd be great. Like we could do a Zoom one-to-one for an hour.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay, guys.
All right, you guys.
Nice to
Have
see
a good one.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Can you
We'll
send
see.
me membership information?
Yes. Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
And
thanks.
Jacob, send him the information on that
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
Okay.
thing
See you.
coming up.
All right.
Okay.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.